I'm very pleased to be here with you. We have a great group, 45 of us right now here, and I'll talk a little bit about that just in a second. I teach at the University of Wyoming. I've been here for 16 years, and with regards to marketplace simulations, one of the tech support people at Marketplace noted a couple of years ago when I called in, your customer number is number 260. And I didn't have that perspective, but the customer support person knows that most of the customer numbers are over 10,000. So I was one of the early adopters of marketplace simulations, and really appreciate the cleverness that Ernie and his team have brought into the development of their simulations, and they're always working on improving them. The career readiness report looks really exciting. I'm looking forward to using that in the future. My talk today is really about creativity, and it's not about my creativity. It's really about your creativity. And so the purpose of my sharing is so that you'll think about yourself and how you can use the marketplace simulations as a platform for your creative endeavors with your students. And what creativity, we might have thought about that as an option in the past, but really some of the leading thinkers in marketing like Russell Belk, Rob Kozinets, they say that really that is becoming the central focus of marketing. With generative artificial intelligence having such an impact in other realms, it's really comes to creativity. So it behooves us to nurture our creativity. When I think about the people on the call here, you have so much experience that you really are primed for creative endeavors, particularly in the classroom. I saw Ronnie Chin is here from Northern Iowa. He's teaching finance. And yes, Ronnie, creativity is for you. When I worked in the marketing research industry at SDR Incorporated in Atlanta a number of years ago, we wound up doing a psychological test, and all the people, the 4 people in my statistic analysis group, we turned out to be the most creative people in the firm, and that really surprised us. But actually, we were in a day-to-day setting of solving problems, figuring things out when we were backed in a corner, and I think that is analogous to what finance people have to do. So, Ronnie, you are plenty creative. Eileen, 18 years of experience teaching at Purdue Global. You are creative. And so this presentation is really to challenge us to think about creativity. So the title here is Moving the Class to the Next Level in Conscious Capitalism, The Power of I Feel Good. Features James Brown here. James Brown, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, back in the 1960s and 70s, and James Brown was from Augusta, Georgia, and he was like Robin Hood in Georgia. He was everywhere. You turned around at a Braves game, and he would finish the game afterwards with a concert. And so everybody in Georgia knew James Brown, and they knew he was different and highly creative. His songs, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, Living in America, I Got You, I Feel Good, brought a new sound to rhythm and blues music. And interestingly, James Brown was in the first cohort inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. He was soul brother number 1, the godfather of soul. If you don't know him, I encourage you to check him out. He is something else, particularly his videos of his performances. He was known as the hardest working man in show business. So the context for what my case I'm sharing with you is my undergrad class in sustainable marketing that I did this last spring. We had 22 people in the class. It was taught face-to-face. I used this textbook, Sustainable Marketing, a Holistic Approach. I wrote it, and so it's published by Sage Publications. And really what it does is takes a strategic focus. And so it's less about the X's and O's of developing a sustainable or green product, but it's more why you would do that and making the case for sustainable business practices. It's written for skeptics of sustainability. Every chapter is focused on basically persuasion. So it doesn't assume that everybody has the same views on sustainability. It is about helping students and business people understand sustainability and the reasons for pursuing it. Conscious capitalism, the simulation that I used in the second half of the course, is a brilliant match for teaching sustainable marketing because it addresses the tension between pursuing the mean green money and being green, being sustainable. And so no other place on campus really addresses that tension. So environmental science courses on campus, it's all focused on, of course, you're going to take care of the environment, but it doesn't really address the cost for that or, the upside potential of doing that. But conscious capitalism is simulation that does that. Ethics courses really don't address that. If they do, it's only in passing. I think, they just really, students haven't been put in the difficult situation of digging themselves out of a financial hole at the same time they're trying to be sustainable, or winning in the marketplace with their segments because their products are sustainable. And if they do that, they're going to earn more money and have a better advantage in the marketplace. So conscious capitalism is a wonderful gift to business education, and I recommend it highly. My creativity really is based on prosocial goals. And, I have been a long time macro marketer. I was editor of the journal Macro Marketing from 2016 to 2019. Macro marketing takes a systems view of how marketing influences society and how society influences marketing. So at most of consumer behavior or marketing just takes a micro focus of a tight focus on the dyad of buyer and seller. But macro marketing steps back, looks broadly at all the players that bring products and services to customers and what that means for society. An example of a macro marketing phenomena is the introduction of the smartphone. Some firm, let's say Apple, initiated that. How's that changed society? Well, if you just walk around your campus, you'll see people bumping into trees or yourself because they have their eyes down and looking at their phone while they're walking. Okay, so it is this really, and it has other issues too with regards to that. I just was on a webinar this week for the Journal of the Association of Consumer Research, and it was focused on climate change and their special issue. And really, at the end, the editor said that really what we've shared today is individual frame research. So it's all at the micro level. But really, the big challenge for sustainability is system level change. And that needs to be addressed if we're really going to get traction with some of the major sustainability challenges, such as climate change. I think you'll hear more about that, but macro marketing is definitely addressing that systems level change. And so I guess this creative initiative that I'm taking winds up having kind of a focus on a higher level of aggregation. So really it was about moving all teams in the class to higher performance simultaneously. So, and this actually lines up with sustainable development goals, such as improving or eliminating hunger, having sustainable energy introduced, having gender equality, improving life under the water, life on the land. All these SDGs, really requires more aggregate action. And so in that way, this conscious capitalism, or at least the creative endeavor that I'm showing here, and conscious capitalism addresses that. So with regards to psychology, goal theory really says that, that prosocial goals, such as making friends, being responsible to others, actually, leads to having a sense of belonging for individuals, making people feel that have more integrity, and also that individuals feel that they are more respected when they pursue these pro-social goals. And it also leads to importance to gaining acceptance. So that's this peer acceptance and respectability, the need for approval. And what I introduced in my class was this basically peer acceptance and need for approval by a simple adjustment I made at mid-course. So these social goals can help us organize and direct and motivate people to achieve more fully. They are, and also they allow us to, when we're achieving for the sake of the group, it also leads to more cooperative learning. And so that's what my innovation actually wound up doing. So when I was headed into the simulation here, and I was getting it started, I really wanted the students to, focus on learning the mechanics of conscious capitalism so that they could be more effective in the simulation. And so I found myself, I told the class this: if all teams make an A on the simulation, they're playing against the computer. So if all teams make an A on the simulation, Dr. P will go to the atrium of the College of Business at the University of Wyoming, which was right here, you're seeing a picture of it. And I will sing James Brown's "I Got You, I Feel Good." So, of course, that woke up everybody. And you might ask, why would you do that? Okay, and so here's a little bit background on me, okay? Although I look like maybe your typical college professor, I'm actually a dangerous man. And one of the reasons for that is from 2019 to 2021, I served as a caregiver to my late wife, Cindy, who battled brain cancer. And she died on June 3rd, 2021. But what I learned as a caregiver during COVID, where we did not institutionalize Cindy, we cared for her in my home, and I was the lead caregiver, was that emotional support was crucial. And pulling the trigger on reasonably good ideas meant so much to my family and to Cindy. So this idea of singing at a wedding came up. And so before spring break, I told my class, I'm going to Georgia. I'm getting married to Lori, who I love. Should I sing James Brown's "I Got You, I Feel Good" there at the reception? Of course, particularly the women in the class thought that was a great idea. So at the reception, and you can see Lori here, and actually you can actually see me singing here. So I did pull the trigger on this. The only person at the reception who knew that I had this plan was Jamil, who's in the 7-piece R&B group, who played wonderfully at the reception. So I could have declined to do it. Jamil was the only guy that knew that I had that plan, but I did do it. And of course, it was a memorable occasion. So I already had this learning in my back pocket. So coming back to class, challenging the students to, hey, if you make an A on this, I'll go upstairs and I'll sing in the atrium. That was an easy thing to do. So let me see if I can get this going for you here. Okay, so I'm just sharing this with you just to show that I did pay off. Okay, so that's the thing that you should take away from this. Wow, I feel good. I need it. I feel. I need it. It's so good. So good. I got you. Wow. Okay, so I paid off. Here's what happened. The dean, who's an economist, he thought that there was a protest going on in the atrium. So he was alarmed. He came out. He was really disturbed. I had told him 2 weeks before, I'm going to do this. Get ready for it. His response was, just get it on video so we can share it later. So he had forgotten about that. After I finished, there was applause. And actually, my students in the class gave me over the head double high fives. So a bunch of them did that. So I've been a professor for 28 years, and that's the first time I've received such affirmation from students. I'm not even sure they've shaken my hand before and tell me I've done a good job. Okay, but it happened then. The next week when we finished the class, in my last class meeting with the class, they gave me a round of applause. So that usually doesn't happen at the end of my classes. I'm also following up. I'm actually texting with one of the students, and that hasn't happened before. He's at Fort Moore in Georgia, beginning infantry officer basic course there. And so my relationships with my students seem to have extended beyond what they normally do. So all those are indicators for, I guess, the positive outcomes here. So we also had 50% improvement in the overall performance percentile. So the previous class that I taught was at the 40th percentile, and you can see this through the some of the diagnostics that Marketplace Simulations provides. But this class moved up to 60% in terms of the overall performance percentile. So that's a 50% improvement. It's one data point, but it definitely is headed in the right direction there. And so some of the lessons I've learned here is that put things into context for students a lot. So when I'm coaching the entire class, I want them all to win. So it seems like I'm giving them more perspective. I moved them from the micro to the macro so that if you do this right, we'll all win, okay? And the class gets a grade, so to speak, and so I will provide a reward. But, after doing this, I'm realizing that Marketplace Simulations provides a wonderful and easy way to benchmark with previous classes. You can see here in the lower left of my screen that when I log on, this is what I see, all my previous classes here. The students don't see that, but I see that. But I can readily find out what previous classes have done and ask the students to do better than that. And so, I could actually choose like maybe the fall of 2021 class, and there could be, one of our recent graduates is Josh Allen. He plays quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. I could say, hey, can you beat Josh Allen's class? And that's, I think, would really engage the students to do that. They might have brothers or sisters that have been there too, but certainly doing the previous class is an easy way to get to that. It turns out that if you pursue emotional engagement, such as fun, Huang et al. In their Journal of Educational Computing Research articles say that it leads to greater problem solving, development, critical thinking, and more creativity. So I think that's what we want to do when we're working with our students here. So challenge points, you can not only use the percentile, but hey, can you outdo this other class on balanced scorecard? Can you outdo them on the conscious capitalism score? Can you outdo them on the quiz? Can you outdo them on the time spent on the simulation? So there's just a host of ways to benchmark with others. So when I look to the future, what I see is now the dean, who's an economist, he said my performance was pretty awful, but I had to say, well, the students seem to like it a lot. So I will have better audio visual. And I just had a boom box, and I grabbed a karaoke machine from the dean's office, and I need to get those synced and coming through the same system now. But also I'm realizing that Sweet Home Chicago from the Blues Brothers, that's in a different key. It's easier to sing. I think we can get people singing on that. I can also have hired guns. There's a a cappella group on campus, students for $100. I know they'll come to the atrium and either sing with me or sing alone, and I'll sound much better when I do that. So a small investment. Also, we can go upstairs and do a song together. And John Denver's Take Me Home Country Roads. If you swap out West Virginia and put in Old Wyoming, it sounds really great. So we could do that. So we do it on a class break up there in the atrium. You could make brownies for the students and bring them in, and they would probably get a huge kick of that, and they would talk about it with their friends. You can go to Cameo. Cameo is a website that you can get shout outs from celebrities for a small amount of money. This is Michael Ray. He's an up and coming country singer. For $30, you could get him. He probably sing for the class, if they did well. Here's Chad Henne for $50. He is on a Super Bowl team. He plays quarterback. He meets with Patrick Mahomes every day for $50. You could have him fire up your class. You can pick your favorite team out there. They have those on the website there. And if you were Ernie Cadotte and you are still teaching, you could hire KC of KC and the Sunshine Band, the best disco band in existence. For $150, you could step up and get something of real value there for your class. For those of you that don't know, KC and the Sunshine Band's big songs were "That's the Way I Like It," "Get Down Tonight," and Ernie's favorite, "Shake, Shake, Shake." So in conclusion, really this is about, your imagination and what you can bring to the class. And the conscious capitalism simulations are a marvelous platform for bringing in creativity. For me, it was realizing something that was under my nose all the time. I seem to talk to the class about the simulation, but it's really to help them as individuals. But once I brought in a frame of, hey, if the class performs at this level, there will be a reward, the class and all the individuals improve markedly. So I'd look forward to sharing any answers to questions you might have through Q&A.
That is absolutely wonderful, Mark, and I love the story, and it's certainly heartwarming to know how you took care of your wife and how that also helped play out in your creativity with your class. Everything is connected. And I think that's also part of what you try to have the students realize. We do have a question here from Colin. If you'll check the chat real quick, I think this is a highly relevant question, if you can see it.
Okay, the question is, should we focus just on earning money and winning the mean green, or should we do both simultaneously, taking care of the environment, taking care of local communities, and learning how to win in the marketplace? I would say do both, and here's why. That really the learning that comes through conscious capitalism is something that no other part of the campus really addresses, which is how do you do both at the same time? And any ethics classes tend to promote what's called corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility is really just run your business and then at the end direct some philanthropy toward good meaning causes. And that's been done plenty of times. So what we really need are products and services that have sustainability organic to their development and work up, and so that firms are winning in the marketplace based on how sustainable their products and services are. So if we're doing that, then there is this collective effect for the planet and society, and that's really the challenge before business today. So I would say, to me, they can be done usually every introduction to marketing course or introduction to business course. They have a chapter on ethics, but it just is kind of hung there as an ornament on a Christmas tree. But you could take that chapter and weave it into your teaching of conscious capitalism, and I don't think it would be done, I think, in a seamless way.